Are you missing the FBI now when you retired?
Not so much now. I did for the first 6 months. I can remember at the retirement seminars they mentioned the biggest problem we have with FBI and Secret Service agents is that you're retired and you think you're going to go to the fishing hole. And then 3 or 4 months later you realize that you've missed the excitement. And I can remember poo-pooing it at first, and I can remember the 6 months to the first year after retirement finding myself less than satisfied. I did some work, contract work, for some other agencies. I did some work for the State Department, but it wasn't quite what I was used to.
What you were expecting.
And what I was expecting. And you eventually begin to wind down. There's still terrific opportunities for us. I do some teaching down at Quantico of some of the newer agents.
Is it big bucks that a FBI agent makes?
No, not particularly. I mean, I think everything is relative. You know, starting salary for me was under $30,000 with 3 children, and
that's what cops make in Fairfax County.
And that's what they make in Fairfax County. However, in a number of years, 6, 7 years, Fairfax County, they were up way over $50,000
right.
in a short period of time. And when I retired, you're somewhere in the high 80s, early 90s, so probably $100,000 in today's standard, which in Washington, D.C. and in New York City and many high cost of living areas like Los Angeles, San Francisco,
it's not much.
Can be a challenge. However, it's not the reason. I've never known anyone of my colleagues that went into the FBI or the Secret Service or the Capitol Police or the CIA that I've known that ever went into it for money. Because
well,
if you are, you'll go to something else.
Well, from the people from the CIA I met, there was some of them had this power trip. It means being the biggest potato in the field, and that was very wrong motivation. As I told you before, there was my first case officer. He was a Scientologist, and he spent most of my time and his time, instead of doing this what we were assigned to, he was trying to pump me with Dianetics and trying to get me to join Scientology, and he was so preoccupied with this, and I thought that after I complained to the Central Intelligence, and they moved him, I thought that they will move him to Burma or somewhere, one of those places where monkeys climb the trees. Guess what? He became a chief of station in London.
Well, you know, I can't say for a fact that this is a universal law, but I can say that we used to have a saying that mess up, move up.
Right.
And sometimes, like myself, I would see situations where I thought some people were moved up the ladder, weren't as qualified as perhaps I thought they should be, and next thing you know, you find themselves in a higher position. I'm not too sure that that's universally subject just to law enforcement. I think that perhaps you could find that with you know, Bank America or Microsoft too. But generally speaking, I understand how you feel.
Courtney, what is the future of peaceful citizen movements when thousands and thousands of people see injustice, see hurt done to our citizens, see children working 16, 17 hours and not being even fed? What is the future of those protests as you see it? And you see, this is a group of course I'm talking about anonymous group that is loosely associated by one common enemy. They of course want to see the epic win.
Yes, of course.
And since they are young, they are not very patient. And what Mr. Bunker, what Tory, what Arnie preaches is patience and doing this what you do so well. And sooner or later, government authorities will notice, you will notice this, that those things have to end, that the status of a church, of a religion, given to people who act like terrorists, like Soviet Union, like KGB, that this status should be withdrawn. We don't care what you believe in. You can believe in your old Snicker, for all what I care. But we don't believe that believing in your Snicker and instead of God, that it gives you the status of a religion. It shouldn't be given.
You know, Boris, let me see if I can answer it this way. It wasn't that long ago that I remember as a young person and an ideologue wanting to make things change and make things happen, especially during the Vietnam War. Although I volunteered and went over, there was a mainstream of young ideologues and very, very bright people, similar to the people that you're referring to.
Right.
I can't tell those people not to be impatient. I mean, I could say it, but it's going to go. It's going to go in one ear, out the other. I think the answer is don't be impatient. Expect, but channel that expectation
The correct way.
The correct way. You had mentioned that you have met with them during some protests, and that you've mentioned to them, you know, let's follow the law. Let's make sure that we respect
Absolutely.
the fact that we have the right to be able to protest to our government. Thank God for that. But let's not abuse it so that we become a problem. That's very, very wise. And at times it can also be frustrating for the young people. My recommendation to the young folks, the anonymous that want to protest, that want to make a difference, similar to my own children who are in their 20s, is to work smarter, not harder. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, if you think you're being surveilled and harassed, get license plate numbers. You don't have to get out, you don't have to stop traffic, you don't have to take photos, you don't have to make a big scene. You write it down, you collect some information, you go to your FBI office, you ask if you could talk to an agent, you have a particular matter that concerns you, you introduce yourself, you say, this is what I'm involved in, this is what I've seen, I'd like to be on record to at least report this. I'm not asking you to go to a United States attorney. I'm just saying I would like to be on record, and that I'm just trying to do what would be expected as a law-abiding citizen. And you do that whether you're in Albuquerque, or whether you're in Bangor, Maine, or whether you're in San Francisco, or whether you're in Washington, D.C.
Or Clearwater.
Yeah, or Clearwater. Clearwater even better because that's their headquarters. The point I'm trying to make is that what kind of reaction you're going to get, depending upon whether or not there's a case open, depending upon the case, the fact whether or not the agent's involved in many other terrorist activities and so forth, you may get a brush off. You shouldn't. He should at least take the information down. But if you do, let it go. It's okay. You've done the right thing. Do it again. And what you're doing is you're using the platform that the government has given you. And then over a period of time, if this is happening throughout the United States, you're going to see that this information is coming in,
Feels
and
like
they're going to
bricks.
correlate that.
Right.
And they're going to say, what do we see as far as domestic terrorism? Well, we see this problem. We see gangs. We see this. We have an upsurge of complaints from people that are saying that their pet has been poisoned.